Bruiser Aatrox with Overlord's Bloodmail is extremely powerful right now, while Warmogs had made its way into meta on so many champions. And remember, if you're struggling to climb in League, SkillCapped is the only place that guarantees you'll climb at least 5 divisions while actively using our service. Otherwise, you can claim a full refund. We do this because our service really works, and this is the best time of the season to get in on SkillCapped, as we've just released tons of site-exclusive courses designed for you to power learn the most important concepts for climbing in League of Legends stupidly fast, compared to those who don't use SkillCapped. Join today for unlimited access to the world's most famously effective League of Legends guides, and remember, one subscription gives you access to all of our other games as well. So what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description below to stop wasting time being hard stuck and get the rank you actually want. And with that said, let's get into it. In patch 14.12, Riot provided Aatrox with more healing from R but less healing from E, which has in turn allowed for Bruiser builds to succeed much more. Aatrox being a champion who can drop quite low on health but still turn a fight in his favor due to all of his healing is very underrated with Overlord's Bloodmail. This is because one of the passives on Overlords grants you bonus AD based on your missing health. The second passive from Overlords converts 2% of your bonus health into AD. The first 2 items in the build path will be Sundered Sky and Black Cleaver, so in total with all 3 items you're getting 1350 bonus health, which converts to 13.5 bonus AD. Overlords is currently the highest winning 3rd item purchase for Aatrox, but it's only being played in about 5% of games. The rune page to go along with this build is Conqueror, followed by Triumph, Haste, and Last Stand, while Second Wind and Revitalize are for secondaries. After covering Zeke's Convergence Hecarim a few patches ago, the build has really taken off on the champion, and there's another champ who's currently quite underrated with the item. Olaf is finding a lot of success slotting in Zeke's as a 3rd pickup. First 2 items are Ravenous Hydra and Sundered Sky. Zeke's makes a lot of sense for Olaf because whenever he uses his R, he's going to gain the bonus damage and slow from Zeke's. As long as Olaf is able to stick onto his target, he has no issues at all mowing them down, and the slow from Zeke's really helps to enable that. The Zeke's passive lasts for a whole 5 seconds as well and provides a 30% slow, which is pretty crazy. So overall, Zeke's is just a super cheap and effective 3rd pickup for Olaf, as he's looking to transition into more defensive items after building Bruiser with Ravenous and Sundered Sky. The rune page for Olaf consists of Conqueror with Triumph, Alacrity, and Last Stand, while Biscuits and Approach Velocity are for secondaries. There's a very interesting new rune setup that has been seeing a lot more play on Talon jungle as of recent. Instead of running First Strike or Conqueror, a lot of high elo Talon jungle players have been transitioning over to Hail of Blades. Hail of Blades just gives Talon a ton of upfront burst, as it makes proccing his passive extremely seamless. Being able to proc Talon's passive is so key when it comes down to winning out in skirmishes, and Hail of Blades pretty much guarantees the proc before the enemy is able to dash or flash away. If you take Ignite instead of Flash for your summoner spell, there's even more early kill threat out of this setup. Talon was just buffed in 14.12 as well, so the champ is now actually in a really good spot for jungle. So here's what the full rune page is looking like as you take Hail of Blades with Sudden Impact, Eyeball Collection, and Ultimate Hunter, while Freeboots and Cosmic Insight are the best secondaries. The core build consists of a Ghostblade Rush into Profane Hydra 2nd and then Edge of Night 3rd. All the craze over the last patch or so has been focused around the emergence of Warmogs on many support champions, but there is a jungler who's extremely powerful with the item as well. Last patch we noted how lots of Skarner players had been finding great success with Warmogs, and it started to pick up traction on Sejuani as well. Sejuani with Warmogs Rush makes a ton of sense because just like Skarner, she has health scaling in her kit. Sejuani's W deals damage based on her max health, so the 1000 health you get from Warmogs doesn't just make you tankier, it amplifies damage as well. Players that are rushing Warmogs on Sej are winning about 3% more than those going for Sunfire, so it's a pretty significant gap. You'll still want to build Sunfire, but delay it until 2nd, and then 3rd purchase really depends on the game, as Thornmail or Canic Rookern are good choices. For the rune page, it's Aftershock followed by Font of Life, Conditioning, and Overgrowth. Optimal secondaries are Triumph and Alacrity. LeBlanc's early game becomes more lethal for this patch due to the Electrocute buffs, but there's actually a rune setup many players are sleeping on that makes it even better. The majority of LeBlanc players are taking a more scaling focused setup for their secondaries right now with Transcendence and Gathering Storm. The secondary page that is actually finding the most success in LeBlanc though revolves around the Inspiration Tree. Biscuits and Jack of All Trades are performing much better than Sorcery secondary, and for good reason. Jack of All Trades will provide you with 10 ability power once you complete Sorc Shoes and have Lost Chapter. You need 5 unique stats from your items to gain that 10 bonus AP from Jack of All Trades, and from those 2 items you get Move Speed, Magic Pen, Ability Haste, Mana, and Ability Power, which total to 5. So with Electrocute now providing more early game damage and you having access to 10 more AP by going Jack of All Trades, the early kill power from LeBlanc in 14.13 is massive. The standard build that you should take with this rune setup consists of Illuden's Rush into Shadowflame 2nd and Rabadon's third. Korean Katarina players have started running a new build over the last patch, and it's an AD bruiser setup. Instead of rushing Blade of the Ruined King though, Stridebreaker is what has been on the rise. One of the big pros to Stridebreaker is the fact that you're getting some durability with the 450 health. You've got a little more margin for error when playing this build, which helps a lot if you aren't the most mechanically gifted Cat player. Sticking power is also a huge perk, as the active from Stride really helps for Cat to stick onto her target once she jumps in. Stridebreaker is the only more durable item in the build though, as you're going all damage from then on out with Kraken Slayer and Terminus as the next two pickups. For the rune page, you want to take Conqueror with Triumph, Alacrity, and Last Stand, while Sudden Impact and Relentless Hunter are the best secondaries. A new build for Neela has been popping up as of recent, and it's one that you'd never really expect. Instead of building crit-oriented ADC items, Death's Dance is being prioritized as a core pickup. In fact, it is an Essence Reaver rush into Death's Dance second that has been seeing a lot more play. Death's Dance does make a lot of sense on Neela in select situations. The 40 armor along with its passive provides a good amount of durability that will not go to waste on Neela due to the fact she needs to be up close and personal in order to be most effective. If the enemy team drafts a full AD comp, that is where going for this build becomes a no-brainer. Forcing the setup though in games where the enemy comp is split with magic and physical damage is not the best play. So as long as you're running the build in the correct situations, it adds some nice versatility to Neela. Rune page with this build is Conqueror followed by Triumph, Bloodline, and Last Stand, while Free Boots and Cosmic Insight are for secondaries. A very unique build that a few pros have been pulling out on their Jinx lately does not involve Kraken Slayer. It's a very AD heavy focused build with Yuntal Wild Arrows being the addition. You're going to drop Kraken from the rush slot and instead rush Infinity Edge, grab Phantom Dancer second, and Yuntal Wild Arrows third. Analytically, this build has been performing amazing on Jinx, but it's yet to really catch on. You just have more upfront damage from the build, which for solo queue is often extremely valuable. R and W damage will be higher to help you finish off kills easier, and your autos will be hitting really hard. It's only in those more extended, drawn-out fights to where the value from Kraken Slayer will outweigh Yuntal. So in games where the enemy comp is extremely squishy and won't take a plethora of autos for you to take them down, definitely give this heavy AD setup a go. For the rune page, it's going to be Fleet Footwork with Presence of Mind, Bloodline, and Cut Down. Absolute Focus and Gathering Storm are the best secondaries. Bard is one support in the game that always seems to have a new wacky build pop up every few patches, so it's not a surprise he's hopped on the Warmogs train. It's not just Warmogs though that players are rushing to good success on Bard, as Wit's End is being slotted in second. You're playing to be up close and dealing a bunch of damage with your autos, so the support item upgrade is going to be Bloodsong. Although the setup is super wonky, it does make a lot of sense because the durability from Warmogs allows you to be more aggressive to take advantage of the on-hit damage from Wit's End and Bloodsong. In the past, we did see Heartsteel as a relatively popular rush on Bard, so this is like a spin-off of that build due to the fact that Warmogs is just so broken right now. Since you're going to be auto-attacking a ton with this setup, instead of going Guardian for the Keystone Rune, you can look to take Fleet Footwork. A support champion who has a ton of value right now but has yet to see a drastic rise in popularity is Galio. Earlier in the season, back in patch 14.6, Galio received a change to his W to where the damage reduction now scales off his bonus health. Now that Warmogs has been given a bunch of extra health, the item has even more value for Galio, and he's currently one of the most underrated Warmog support users for 14.13. There's definitely a spot for Galio in meta right now, not just because of his synergy with Warmogs, but because of how the ADC meta has aligned. Kai'Sa has shot up to being the most picked ADC for solo queue, and Galio has such great synergy with her. All the CC from Galio allow for Kai'Sa to proc her passive very fast and gives the duo a ton of burst. So the full build that you'll want to be running on Galio right now consists of Warmogs with Locket as core pickups, while Celestial Opposition is the item upgrade. As for the rune page, look to take Aftershock with Shield Bash, Second Wind, and Overgrowth. Optimal secondaries are Biscuits and Cosmic Insight. Alright guys, one last thing, our rank up guarantee is insane. It's like signing up for the gym and getting a refund if you don't get ripped. That's how confident we are in SkillCapped. We obsess over making the best guides with top players, rigorous testing, and top tier video editing to make your climb easy. If you're ready to level up, visit SkillCapped.com and see the difference. So there you have it guys, 10 new setups that are extremely powerful for patch 14.13. Thank you all so much for watching, we'll see you in the next one.